So first and foremost, welcome to Two Star Diamond Call. So excited for this. First, I want to ask you guys, though, how did you guys implement Recruiting 101 into your week last week? Anybody want to step up and tell me what you did and what you took from that call? Anybody?
I posted on Instagram. That was a first. Not a first, but not usual for me. So yeah.
Good. Thanks, Kathleen. That's awesome. Good for you. Consistency in that will build that cold market, girlfriend. Good job. Yeah. Anybody else? Take it.
My team did a 5-day sneak peek, and I just invited people I had never invited before, and I got 2 coaches. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Loving it. You ain't there, girl. That was easy. No, will you all mute yourself unless you're talking? How about that?
Airplane so bad.
Right? Woo! Love it. All right. Well, you know what? Without further ado, we can go more into it. But that call, now that I've reposted it, I would highly suggest that you go back and you rewatch it, because that was such an incredible topic. I mean, especially taking it from a 2-star diamond who is ranked so highly and who is truly working her business and having such great success. So she shared what she's doing. I would love for you guys to rewatch it if you have seen it, or if you haven't seen it, do rewatch it, because her theory on it is absolutely amazing and can definitely help you and your new coaches. So without further ado, I'm going to have Jess Dukes. So she is a 2-star diamond. What's so cool is she's actually ranked 184 out of 362,000 coaches. And the reason why she's ranked so high, first and foremost, she's capped every category. She has 131, well, almost all. She has 131 elite points, so she only needs 4 more. No pressure, Jess, this month to hit that 135. So she has also created 2 brand new diamond coaches this year. And basically all she needs to do is work towards 5-star. So super, super exciting. She is a mama to a cute little boy named Ben. Is he 11 months now? He's 11 months old now. And she works full-time as well. So she is doing all of this by being a brand new mommy as well as working full-time, but she's still working on her Beachbody business because she sees the bigger picture and she knows where this can take her. So without further ado, I'm going to have you, Jess, go ahead and unmute yourself and share with us about consistency and creating leadership.
Thank you for that introduction. Goodness.
Oh,
When Brittany asked me a couple weeks ago what my 2 strengths in my business was, I told her, leading by example and being consistent. Those are 2 things I didn't do very well the entire time, but I think that's something I really changed my business this year, and I've done really well, and it's paid off. So I've been coaching since November 2013, so coming up on my 2 years, and I hit diamond by May, and I pushed so hard for it. I mean, my goal has always been to be a stay-at-home mom one day. I was pregnant during that time, and I hit diamond, and all my uplines kept telling me, like, you got to start helping your coaches. You got to help your coaches hit Success Club. You got to help your coaches advance in rank. And I always wonder, like, what the hell does that actually mean? Like, how do I do that? Like, I can't go make sales for them. Like, I guess I could sign coaches under them, but like, I'm not doing those things. So it's like, how do I get them to do these things? And so I spent the rest of that year, all last year, helping my coaches, trying to, micromanage them. What are you doing? Schedule a call with me, like being on them about, trying to like build this relationship with them, forcing myself on them to help them, because I thought if I help them, then it's going to grow, because I mean, our coaches are what gets us advancing and helps us be successful in this business. And I was like, okay, that's what I got to do, because everyone tells me to help my coaches. And it got to the point where it's like, my business isn't growing at all. I mean, the last half of the year last year, I think I maybe added 2 coaches to my business. My coaches weren't hitting Success Club. I was barely hitting Success Club 10 when I was usually a Success Club 20 plus coach. And I went to Super Saturday in January up here in Seattle, and Jimmy Nelson, I mean, I don't know if they do this at every Super Saturday, but he had everyone stand up based on rank. So coaches, emeralds, and then he had the diamonds stand up. And he looked at us and he said, you guys, like, don't make the mistake of being a manager in your business. And it was like this huge light bulb went off in my head, because it's like, that's what I had been doing. I was a team manager. I was not a team leader. And none of our businesses need a bunch of team managers. And it was that moment when I realized I had done a 180 in my business, and I had stopped doing the things that got me to diamond. And in order to get to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elite coach, you know, I needed to make some changes in my business. And the key was starting to lead by example and not being a team manager. So one of my uplines once told me, she said, if your coaches did only what you did today, would they be successful? And that hit me. It's like, if my coaches only force themselves on their coaches, who are then only forcing themselves on their coaches, we're going to have a huge team of team managers, and no one's going to be hitting Success Club. No one's going to be adding to their teams, and our team is not going to go anywhere. So that brought me to leading by example. And that's one thing I really changed my business this year, and I think it's made a huge difference. So first off, leading by example with Success Club. If you want your coaches to be hitting Success Club every single month, you got to make that a no matter what for yourself. I do a Success Club banner in my team page every single week. I post it every Thursday morning. And although I highlight the top earner on my team, I make sure I am always at number 1. I make sure I have more Success Club points than anyone else on my team. And it's not because I'm like competitive and want to beat them all, but I want to show them that there's no such thing as a slow month. If I can do it, you can do it. I work full time. I have a 11-month-old boy. Like, I have this crazy life, and if I can get Success Club 50 in a month, then you can too. Because I used to hear so many coaches saying, oh, it's a slow month. And it's like, no, there's no such thing as a slow month. There's always someone out there hitting Success Club 100. I mean, that's what I always tell my team, because there's always someone out there getting those sales. So don't use, oh, it's a slow month. Oh, it's August. That's not an excuse. So lead by example and show them that it can be done. And also share with your coaches of how you are doing with it. I have a Google Drive for my team, as I'm sure probably all of you guys do, or something similar. But I post every email template, every advertisement, anything I do, I am posting it in there and sharing them that I posted it there. So my coaches can then duplicate in some ways what I do. And I always make sure they know to, like, I always say copy, paste, and personalize, because I don't want them to just copy what I'm doing and use it as themselves. Like, I want them to make it their own, but I want them to also see what I'm doing to get the Success Club points. Also, in order to hit Success Club, lead by example and run those monthly challenge groups. I know a lot of coaches who think they are too above challenge groups, and they don't do them anymore because they're, a star diamond coach, and they just have a team that they're gonna, help out, but it's like, no one's above running challenge groups. Run those challenge groups. I run one on the first Monday of every single month. My coaches know this. And so that is the culture I want for them too. If I want them to be running monthly challenge groups, then I have to be doing that too. It's a great way to onboard new coaches as well. My new coaches, if you're a first month or a second month coach, you're running your challenge groups with me if that's something you want. But then they know, because I've created that example, that they need to be doing those every single month as well. So create that example for Success Club. Make it something that is a no matter what for you. For me, Success Club 20 is a no matter what. I would not even go to sleep on the last day of the month if I didn't hit that. I want my coaches to be doing that too. Like, why settle at 5 or 10? Like, let's go up, and then that's going to help them set that example for their coaches as well. Another one is setting an example for rank. Our upline team always preaches that rank is not everything. But if you want to advance in this business, rank comes with that. Rank comes with the income. You know, I have a lot of coaches who want to be stay-at-home moms. Like, rank comes with that. Income comes with that. So I do want my coaches advancing in rank, and I think it builds confidence with them too. So leading by example there. If I want them to be adding coaches to our network and building our teams, I have to be doing that before them. So for me, it's not always a no matter what, because I don't always hit it, but I always tell my coaches that's 10 coaches a month. That is what I want. That's my goal, to add to our team every single month. I run coach preview groups for my team because I want them adding to their network. I always share with them, you know, on week 2 of every single challenge group, I am sending my challengers a voice message, a phone call, or a text or something, but something personal, not an email, them to come join my team, whether it's as a discount coach or an actual coach. But I want my team to know that I'm doing that, because I want them to be doing that as well. I've had so many coaches who say like, oh, I've had this challenger for 5 months, and it's like, 5 months, like, why aren't they coaching? So, you know, lead by example. Turn your challengers into discount coaches, and then turn them into actual coaches who are building their team as well. But you can't be pointing your finger and telling them to be building their network if you are not doing that yourself. Another thing is personal development. We get told to do personal development all the time, but I think a lot of people think that's like not really that important. The national wake-up calls, getting on team meetings, listening to podcasts, reading books, things like that. I think it's very overlooked, and people are hustling for sales and rank, and they think that personal development doesn't matter. So I make sure my coaches know I am on every single national wake-up call. I am sitting at my desk at work with my headphones in. I'm sure the bosses hate that, but like, I'm showing them like, hey, I work full-time and I can still get on these calls. Like, even if you listen to the recording, I always make sure my coaches know where the recording is. I always make sure they know when our team meetings are, when our upline team meetings are. I share every single book I read with them. And in my Google Drive, I have a list of all the personal development books that I would recommend, as well as any podcasts I've listened to, YouTube videos, everything. But if I think something is good, I'm going to pass it along to them. And I want them to know, like, just because my coaches think like 2-star diamond is like all big and amazing, which is great. But like, I want them to know, like, you're never too above personal development and doing the nitty gritty. So sharing with them that I'm doing that helps them create that as an everyday thing. They know that's something they do in their power hour every day, because that's something I've taught them, and that's something they see me doing every single day. I listen to podcasts all day at work. I'm at work for 9-10 hours a day, and I listen to a podcast one after another all day long. It's my Pandora, you could say. You know what? My coaches know that. So when they're at work full time, they're doing the exact same thing. And we get a day page of what we've learned in our podcast and what we learned. Another way to lead by example is to be consistent. My consistency, I would say, is my middle name. I am consistent at being consistent, and my coaches know that. I've created a culture on my team is that consistency comes before everything. I almost even tell them, like, don't even bother doing those 3 vital behaviors if you can't be consistent with it. Because no one wants a coach who invites and runs challenge groups for 2 months and then drops off the face of the earth for 2 months and then comes back to it. If you're going to do this, I want you to do it all the way. And I've got coaches who threaten to quit and everything like that. And I will actually tell them, like, please don't invite any more people to the business if you can't be consistent. It's not fair. It's not fair to your coaches, and it's not fair to your challengers. And so I really preach being consistent when it comes to your personal self, getting your workouts in, eating clean, and sharing that on social media. My like page is kind of my specialty. That's how I get all of my sales. And if I wasn't consistent on there, I wouldn't be, I don't think, where I'm at today. And I share those things with my coaches. But I really preach being consistent, because just as just as our challengers, I always tell my coaches, our challengers out of 362,000 coaches, they chose you. Like, that's such a huge responsibility. It's not to be taken lightly. They could have chosen their neighbor. They could have chosen, I'm sure they have a friend that's a Beachbody coach, or someone else that they went to high school with on Facebook that's a Beachbody coach, and they chose you. So don't take that lightly. Just as when it comes to coaching, they had 362,000 other coaches out there that they chose, and they joined your team. So don't take that lightly. Once again, like, commit to your coaches. The best way to commit to your coaches is being consistent for them, and leading by example. Show them what a good coach looks like. So those are my key tips, I guess. I always, every day, ask myself, if my coaches did only what I did, if they did nothing else but only what I did today, would they be successful? And I think every single day I can say yes. Like, I invited every single day. I do my personal development. I work out. I eat clean. I post on social media. Like, I'm chatting with my coaches. I'm having calls. I'm consistent with my office hours. My coaches know exactly what to expect from me all the time. And that's what I want for them as well. And leading by example and giving these tools to my coaches help them be leaders from day one. I was told when I signed up that you don't create a team until you're diamond. And I've changed that for my team, because I don't know why are we not leader? Why are we only leaders once we hit diamond? Like, you're a leader from the second you sign up. You're a leader from the second you sign up one coach. So, I have them creating their team names. The second they sign up, I want them thinking about that, because the second they sign up that first coach, like, they're a leader and they have a team. So getting them to start thinking of themselves as a leader right off the bat, and showing them the importance of leading by example for their coaches too, because it's going to help them create a successful team right off the bat, rather than starting that team once you hit diamond, because you want to create those coaches right off the bat. You don't want to wait till you're diamond. So those are my tips. I kind of ended a little early, but
You're great. There's going to be plenty of questions. And now you know why she's ranked number 184. Holy system in place, consistent. But I will tell you the secret sauce to Jess. You ready for it? She may recruit 10, she may recruit 20 in a month, but she works with the willing. She's not taking everybody at the same speed. And she really, because if you think about it, she works full time. She's a mommy, all of these things. And so she truly works with the willing, the ones that have the skin in the game, because if not, Jess would probably be pulling out her hair, but she's not. And I love the fact that you constantly show your team what is possible, meaning you need to be that number one all on the board. You need to show that it's never a slow month. So I love that. Thank you. And it's not a salesy approach, just to show what is possible. And for those competitive ones, they'll want to get there. But more importantly, it shows the bigger vision of what is possible. So my question now is, what questions do you have? Because holy moly, that was so great. Yay. Chime on in, coaches.
Okay, I have a question. You said something about your like page and how you wouldn't be here today if you weren't consistent on that. How long have you been consistent with your like page? Because I've just started getting really consistent with it, and I've seen a lot more progress. Like, I was at 300 likes in January, and I'm almost to 1,000. So I've been like progressively trying to be more consistent. So how long have you been doing that? And like, what do you consider consistent, I guess? Like, how many times a day are you posting on your like page? Stuff like that.
So my page is putting your best foot forward. And I think I've got like almost 7,500 likes. I've had my page probably for 2 years, and I really got consistent with it when I started coaching in November 2013. And I think I started coaching with 4 likes on my page because I was so embarrassed. But now, I mean, I post every page. Today you probably won't see anything yet because I'm at home, but I mean, every day I would say I at least post 5 times a day. I wake up at 3 a.m. to get my workouts in, so my followers know. I mean, I'm so consistent with my page that if I actually don't post a sweaty selfie at 4 o'clock in the morning, I actually get emails saying, hey, did you work out today? From my followers. I mean, that's how consistent I am. And it almost like I had to post last night going, I'm working from home, so I won't be posting a sweaty selfie in the morning because otherwise I'll get bombarded with emails. But I don't think there's any such thing as posting too often, because the people who are following on you on your page want to be following you. And I lose people every single day, and that's okay. Those are not people I was obviously meant to help. people who do want to follow you, they want to know everything. I mean,
Yeah.
they want to see my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, my snacks, my workouts. They want to see my grocery list and everything. So I don't think there's any such thing as posting too much. And I try to post every little thing on there.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you post on your personal page?
I don't post a ton on my personal page. I've kind of tried to make my personal page more personal. I want people, so I try to get people from my like page to my personal page, because that's, I think, when the real magic happens. And so I ask people from my, on my like page, like, hey, are we friends? Like, friend me over here. And I want that to be like where they get into me. They get to know my husband and my son and what I'm doing on the weekends and things like that, those more personal things. I will share some like before and after and, about my challenge groups and stuff, but I leave almost stuff to my like page. And I don't recommend, like, if you don't have a like page started, like, I don't recommend not posting anything on your like page, but once your like page gets up and going and you've got some good consistency there, that's when like post your stuff there. So for a while it was like, if I have a workout, like, here's my sweaty selfie. If you want a review for my workout, go to my like page, like trying to get them over there. Cause that's where then I can feel like I can post as much as I want without annoying people and losing friends.
Yeah. I have more people on my personal page than my like page. So I'm trying to figure out how to manage that.
Well, and I did for a long time too, and I just, the more you're consistent on Facebook, and mind you, I've never boosted anything. I don't pay for my like page. I strictly grow it just by being consistent. And the more you are consistent, you can kind of figure out what's reaching the most people and continue to post those things. I mean, heck, if I post a picture of my son, I mean, my reach can be like 50,000 in there because people go nuts, whereas, so then I know like what to kind of post on there.
Thank you.
I have a question about your, you mentioned right from the get-go having your coaches be leaders and come up with their team names. Do you have them right away start their own team private group also, or do you have them and their team stay on your big team page?
I have them in my big team. I more so push for that page once they hit Emerald, but I also set them a goal to hit Emerald within 2 weeks of signing up as a coach, which doesn't always happen, obviously. But I always try to get them to at least start thinking about it. Because to me, it took me probably 3 months to think of a team name. So if you start thinking about it now, you might have one by the time, you're Emerald, and then you can really get going. But once they're Emerald and they've got coaches and stuff, like, yes, they need to have a team page. And I still want them interacting, but I want them to be there, have theirs.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know a little bit about Success Club and helping your new coaches hit it off the bat. So, I'm assuming because you capped out in that, a lot of your new coaches are hitting Success Club pretty fast, doing success starters and all of that. So other than leading by example, because for me personally, I'm really, really strong with leading by example that way. I got 42 points last month. Like, I'm showing them it's always doable. But I've had this dry spell the last 3 months where like no one is hitting Success Club of my new coaches. So I would love to know how you handle that.
So I try to get all my coaches on a getting started right call literally within the first couple of days of them signing up. And I know a lot of coaches wait for a little while so they can actually have questions, but I try to do it right off the bat because I want them to know about success starters.
Yeah, me too.
And I really try to simplify it for my coaches. Success Club is helping 3 people. And on the phone with them, I'll sometimes make them tell me 3 people that they know that they're going to go invite. Because to me, I always say it's like, okay, that's your mom's sister and your boyfriend, or, your best friend, your mom, and your other best friend. Really try to simplify and just say it's 3 people. Who are you going to help this month? And running my challenge groups with them, my coaches don't want to come to my challenge group and have no challengers to help. Because I delegate. So like in my prep week, like they all have to do videos. They all have to help out, even if they have no customers, like they have to help coach the group. And so they always are like, oh my gosh, I really want to get some coaches to come join us in our challenge group. So having them have a group and feeling like a coach, like that really helps them want to help people. And simplify it by Success Club 5 sounds like this giant mountain to some people. So simplify it. It's 3 coaches, you know, Emerald. Okay, it's going to be your spouse and one other person. Who's it going to be? You know, very simplify it for them and help them think of those couple people while you're on the phone with them. They can't run from you when they're on the phone with you.
I mean, I literally do exactly all of those things. And the start of the year, I was like going up really fast, like in my elite numbers, and then it just stopped and plummeted. And I have no idea what changed, but something has. And I get them out of the gate really fast. I do the getting started right calls. That's my big thing I'm so passionate about. Talk to them like within the first 24 hours. Tell them their goals. Tell them, you know, their 3 friends, everything. I just don't know what's happened the last couple of months. It's just so.
Have you asked your coaches what they think is going on? Because sometimes for me, like I find I just straight up ask my coaches like, hey, what's going on? Like, and check in with them, like when they do sign up, and a lot of them will say I'm getting a lot of no's. And, you know, sometimes it's like, okay, well, did you tell them about the Beachbody guarantee, like the money back guarantee? And, you know, a lot of my coaches get a lot of price, you know, and I tell them what I would like. I get on the phone with them and have that like conversation, like pretending they're the customer, what I would say. And they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't ever think about those things, you know, and it doesn't always help, but I really try to encourage my coaches not to get too discouraged. Because I think a lot of coaches come in this business, even if they're not here just for the money, they are so like, oh, I'm going to be so successful. Like, because I tell my coaches, like, I'm making more with coaching than I do at my full-time job. And they're like, I'm going to be like that. But it's like, you're not going to come in here making $1,000 your first month normally, you know? So really making sure that they know, like, you're still doing great, even if you only made $15 this month, you know, or made 0. But making sure they don't get discouraged, because a discouraged coach is one that quits.
Yeah.
So just kind of, yeah, I don't know. That's tough.
It is tough. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
I would also, can I just add something on that? I would absolutely, one book that's been helping me is Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. So if I haven't told you about that, John Maxwell, and it's just asking more questions. Hey, what isn't working? What, you know, and so you get the answer by digging really, really deep. But that is a phenomenal book that I would highly suggest.
Another thing to go on top of that is, yes, so my upline has always said, like, turn it around and ask them questions. So when I have a coach that's not hitting Success Club, not adding to their business, anything like that, I kind of try to turn it around on them and say, well, first off, have you scheduled your Getting Started Right call with me? Because a lot of them don't. They're too scared. So have you scheduled that? Have you done a new coach camp? And they'll go, oh, I only did 1 day of it. Okay, well, why don't we start there and then we'll chat? You know, how many invites have you sent? Because a lot of people, you know, are like sitting here going, oh, I didn't hit Success Club. And it's like, well, did you invite? No, I didn't invite anyone. It's like, well, you know, or they haven't posted like, I always want my coaches to post their story and kind of like announcing they're a coach. And a lot of them are too scared to do that. So it's like, no one knows to come to you if you haven't announced yourself as a coach. Like, no one's going to say like, hey, that girl, like, she looks like she might be able to help me, you know? So trying to ask them the questions and let them have that aha moment for themselves, and help them figure out what they're doing right and wrong, and also getting them to use that even if they don't do everything, it'll show them the weak spots in their business. They might be killing personal development, but they might have invited 0 people all week, you know, or followed up with no one. So having them do that and send that to me, that helps too.
I actually think it probably is that. I think you literally just hit it in the head, because that's something that's been haunting me the last 2 weeks. Is like, I'm telling them to do the bat, but I'm not actually asking, you know, here, send it to me every week. So I've never seen it being handed over, really. So that could actually be it right there. And that's really freaky you said that about that book, because that popped up in my recommended books just last night on my Kindle. I was like, oh, that looks like a really good one. So when you said it, I'm like, okay, I got to listen to the universe here.
You got it.
Thank you, ladies.
I have a question for you, Jess. I love how you do the leading by example, and that's what I try to do too. I've always said that I want to be the type of coach that I want my coaches to be. Do you ever find that it backfires on you? Like your coaches get intimidated, like they'd say, oh, I could never do what she does. because I was doing that. I mean, I'm really, I push a lot on invitations and making connections. And I was posting, in our team, we use what's called the Power of Three tracker. It's just a spreadsheet. So I'm posting my numbers on that and encouraging my team to post theirs or send me theirs. Nobody was doing it because they're all like intimidated. They can't live up to those type of numbers. Do you ever get that? And how do you deal with it?
Absolutely. I've had coaches that tell me I brag too much and I'm full of myself because, it's like, but, okay, so I've got, 150 on my team right now. If two of the 150 think I'm full of myself and are too intimidated by myself, but the others are really motivated and determined to hit those numbers, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I want coaches who are as driven as me. I want coaches who I am so competitive. That's probably, I want to be at the top, but I will always be at the top because I'm so competitive and I won't sleep until I am. But I want coaches like myself. And I always try to tell my coaches, this is not me bragging. This isn't I'm not trying to say ooh, look at how great I am, but I do want to show me what can be done. I always tell I work full time. I am, I do this and this and this. And then I've got people who are single. They're living with their parents. They don't have a job. And then they're complaining to me about money. And it's okay, if I can do this, you can do it. And I would rather be like that. And if it doesn't mesh with everyone, then I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Because it meshes with most people. And I really do try to lead with where my heart is at. My heart is in the right place. And, I have a lot of coaches who are motivated by the success, by the recognition, by the income. And those people need to see what I've been able to do. It's I always try to share, what coaching has done with me financially. I was able to buy my husband a new car, a couple months ago and didn't have to tap into savings, because of Beachbody. And I want those coaches who are struggling with income to see that because they can have this too. I was where they were at, living in debt, paycheck to paycheck. They can have this too, and then I also try to share other things though that will tap into the other people who are here just to help people. You have to share those bits and pieces because everyone is motivated by different things and you can't please everyone with the way you do things. So you can share a little bit about everything, but no one's ever going to be 100% pleased.
Right. All right. Thanks.
I have another question about your challenge group, your monthly challenge group. Do you and the team share the same challenge group every month, or is that more just for your brand new coaches?
So I used to do that, and we would have challenge groups that were several hundred people big each month, and I had challengers dropping out saying and it's why my challengers were not happy. And so I've changed it back to just doing it with me and my coaches that sign up within the last 2 months. I've got me and 15 other coaches, and they all bring 3 to 4 people each. Then it's a decent sized group. Otherwise it's massive, and I just couldn't have it. I want my challenge groups to feel very intimate. I think another thing I do well is my challenge groups are always really, really active, and it's because I think I've scaled them back, and I know every single person on a personal basis because they're smaller and I know what people are doing. And then my challengers are actually always friends too. And they travel in packs from challenge group to challenge group and then to coaches with me. So when one of them signs up, they all end up signing up as coaches because they're friends in my group. And I want my coaches to be running their challenges with their coaches. Hopefully after 2 months, they have a team of their own of 5, 6, 7, 8 coaches that they now can run their own challenges with. They don't need to be in my group. And I think it's forced them to be a little bit better leaders because they're on their own. They can't rely on me to do everything.
Love it.
Good, thank you. And then do you put everyone in one big one when they finish? Do you have one big ongoing for people to move into?
Every single one of us as coaches has our own individual one. So mine is called Jess's Fit Club. All of my customers are in that group. Every single one of my coaches has something similar. We used to have one big one, but once again, it's massive. No one can keep track of anyone. And it's this challenger is asking for help and I don't even know who's whose coach they are, and I didn't like feeling like that. It made me feel like I was running a sloppy business.
Yeah. Okay, that's helpful.
Awesome. What a last cut. We have time for about 2 more questions. You can
I have
yeah.
a question for you. Hi.
Hi.
So, my question is, do you have guys that are coaching on your team, and do you find them running challenge groups different than you do, or running a business in a different manner, even though the principles that you talk about are principles that we should all be following? I struggle with some of the things that the women are doing, and I try and do them, and it doesn't work for me.
So the only man I have on my team is my husband, which is just me. My coaches do have a couple men, and I found we tried to run an all male only challenge group because to me, I don't coach men. My challenges are for women only because I want my women to be able to post their bikini picture in it. But yes, I would say I had a man sign up with me last month and he quit already because I don't know. But I do think men need to run their businesses slightly differently. I'm trying to get my husband more active in the business, and there's no way he could run a business the way I am, just because I think men and women are so differently. And but yes, we've ran a men-only challenge group, and we have it going. We've got all of my coaches have their husbands signed up, and so all the husbands are kind of trying to run this group. But it's hard because I don't know exactly how to run a challenge for men, or to even help my husband run a challenge for men.
I think I have great question, Tom. First and foremost, Trenny, do you have any insight on that? Because I don't know, her and her husband can work the business a lot together, but do you find that? Can you answer? Can you jump in with this as well? If she's there.
Yeah, so it's funny though, because a majority of our team is women, and a lot of our challengers are women because obviously I relate to them with the moms and, the school functions, but women are also drawn to Ken as well. And a lot of the men that Ken approaches, they say, I go to the gym, I don't need your help. So we're probably not the best ones to ask because a majority of our groups are probably 95% women. We only have maybe 4 or 5 men coaches on our team, and a lot of that is because their wives or their fiancés are part of the team and they're coaches, and they're really running the business. So I don't know, the women are just, I don't know, I guess maybe it's because Ken, he's a very hands-on dad, and so when he goes to school, the moms see him at school and they interact with them really well, and so they're just drawn to him and they trust him right away, whereas the guys they'll chit chat about the programs, but they're not ready to really commit to it. So sorry, probably doesn't help much.
No, it absolutely does. Thank you. I just figured her and her husband can work the business together, so that's why I called you out. Thanks, girlfriend. Tom, what other questions do you have? Sorry to interrupt you.
I think that's it for now. I mean, I have some processes that are working, but I just do them a little bit differently. I run an ongoing challenge group that's more like a man cave where, the men are allowed to talk about pretty much anything they want to talk about, but I also have several coaches in there that are talking about the programs that they're doing, and it does help everyone else that's in there to be interested. And so when I'm inviting people for the first time, I invite them into my ongoing group, and I'm helping them individually. I'm also older. I'm a different generation, and a lot of people like me that I attract are not at all interested in social media. So, I deal with emails and phone calls and things like that. But, I have to find ways that work for me.
Tom, have you ever heard Mike Ryan speak at all?
I know Mike. I haven't listened to a lot of his stuff. I've been following Josh Spencer a lot lately, but I will listen to Mike and see what he has.
Because I know that he built a lot of his business just face to face. Because he came up for Speaker Saturday like a few months ago and was saying how he lived in like Bakersfield, California, and it was really small, and so he basically just face-to-face was how he built it. So he was saying it was a transition moving to Oregon because he wasn't used to doing social media. He was so used to just doing face-to-face where he kind of had to figure out how to do social media. So he probably would have some, I don't know, some videos on his account. I'm not sure, but I just remember him saying that. So I would check him out and see if he has anything.
Thank you. I will. Appreciate it.
And I know our upline has a all male challenge group, and it's, I guess, the culture competitive than a women's, and like just to even get in the group, like they make you like video yourself doing 100 burpees, and so they make it more like manly, I guess. And so they do a lot of challenges like how much weight can you lift and like other things like that. And so that's something that's very different from any challenge group like women do. But that seems to really work. All the men in that group are really, really pumped up and love the group.
I have a co-ed group. My ongoing group has a lot of men in it. And I have several men on my team, but I don't have a lot of like strong business builders that are men on my team. So they're not necessarily, I don't think, inviting to the group, but they all participate a lot. I don't know. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but we just post each day. I do a motivational post, and we just post what we did for our workout. And
Awesome.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I had just had a thought for Tom. I have a couple male coaches on my team, and I know right now you're in a group full of a bunch of women talking. But whenever I've talked with my male coaches, my advice to them is don't do what women do. Do what guys do. What would you do? What would attract you to join a men's group? And what things that would be in that group would make you want to join and do that? Just be guys. Don't try to do what the women do in their groups. You know, start following a couple of the male, like Jimmy Hayes, Dave Ward, Tommy Migrant, and maybe even inbox them and find out what they do in their challenge groups, and just do that. You know, just be guys. My boyfriend's a police officer, and so we're kind of working on like having a law enforcement group. You might be into sports, have something that's a sports theme challenge group, or maybe guys like to drink, you know, microbrew beer. So once a week you go out and you talk about your favorite kind of beer or your barbecue sauce or whatever. So just kind of think about what would attract you to a group and do that, and just be that.
Great suggestion.
Thank you. That's good advice.
Yeah. Thanks.
We're here for you, Tom, though. Sorry to surround you with all these beautiful women.
I know recently there as well, they did that men's summit meetup retreat thing where like a bunch of the top male coaches all met up for 2 days, and a lot of guy coaches went, and they just did like a training camp for 2 days. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube that they shared, like Jimmy Hayes, Nelson and stuff. So maybe if you haven't seen them, you could plug into that too, because I'm sure they were probably sharing a lot of that type of information, because it was just all men.
I was there. It was great. It was in Dallas.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, Jimmy Hayes, Nelson, and Dave Ward ran it. It was really good. Need more of them.
Yes.
do we have time for another question about the challenge groups?
Absolutely.
And I don't know who could help with this one. Right now I'm in a place where I'm kind of torn because I've been trying to do so much for my team that I'm kind of losing myself. And I'm doing so many generic things because I'm trying to do the monthly group for my whole team to plug into. And that has been really helpful because I know people are inviting to that would not starting their own. And it's helped a lot of my newer coaches get Success Club right off the get-go and Success Starters. But I know that my niche is more muscle. You know, I was Body Beast gal. I just, for my 50th birthday, competed in the, figure and a physique competition. And people know that. I have a lot of followers that follow me because I'm 50 years old and have muscle and, got in that kind of shape. So I was wanting to resurrect. I used to have a Flex Appeal group, and I was wondering if I should start doing like my own target for that, like my own group for that, but then also have a generic group for the team to use and just be running two groups. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you run different ones for your team and different ones for yourself?
I'd ask you.
What?
Oh, I can just say something that I've been doing recently with my challenge groups. So maybe like you could step away more from the team challenge groups, like still be in it. But what I've been doing is I have a personally sponsored page. So like an Emma's Coaches page and then a team page, because my team page is just getting crazy and I wanted a page for just my coaches. And so in there every single month, because I do the same thing, like Jess says, I do one every, first Monday of the month. And I've been saying, hey, are there 3 or 4 of you that would like, that have, I either ask them privately if I've seen them really wanting to step up, or I ask in the page if they would help lead. And then I just start a message thread with those 3 ladies. And I'm like, okay, so which week would you guys like? Choose the week that you want, and you are in charge of being the leader for that. So that way, like sometimes I get 4 people, and then that means I don't even have to be a leader in that group that month. I can just go in and I can comment and I can be active and people know who I am. I still introduce myself because I obviously make the group and they see that I'm making the group. But then I kind of don't have to like be making the posts. And I've been noticing like their posts are kick ass. I'm like, why have I not been doing this sooner? And they get so excited. They're like, oh, like, and I message them. I'm like, your posts are great. Like I'm really encouraging them on the side as well, that they're being a good leader. And I've really just been doing this for the last 2 or 3 months. But I've been seeing so much more, I guess, confidence in my team with them, like being able to run a week. I've been a coach for 2 months or 2 years also, and I don't feel like I really just need to be the leader of all of the team challenge groups anymore. So,
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Perfect. We're going to wrap up this call, but Jess, is there anything else that you want to add on to any of this?
I don't think so.
Great call. Great involvement. Great questions. I love it. So first and foremost, I hope that you guys got a ton of notes, because I sure did. Holy moly, Jess. First of all, thank you for being obviously so consistent with exactly what you do, because you pinpoint it perfectly. And that's going to be what my question is going to be to you coaches when I post in the group. So first and foremost, the first thing I want you guys to do, and this might be completely out of your comfort zone, but you need to do it. You need to go to your team and you need to express your dreams and where you're headed. Okay, you need to get your team with you and seeing the bigger vision. Because I know Jess, that's exactly what she has done with her team to see that larger vision. And that's why they are ranked number 184. All right. And then number 2, I'm going to ask you, what are you going to do now to stay consistent and be consistent? Because that's all this business is consistency. If a coach tells you, when you first sign a coach, if the first thing that you can tell them is, you know what, I want to make sure that you're here in a year, you know what that tells them? They have to be consistent. Consistency is what's going to get you through these slower months. Everybody says, oh, August is slow. I got off of the call with a coach and she's like, Brittany, it's not slow. I'm stinking rocking it. I'm like, okay, exactly. So you show consistency right now. It will carry you through those months. It may get a little more rough, November, December, when everybody's out celebrating. Okay? So do the consistency, do the work now, because I promise you it will pay off. Plus, it will teach your coaches to do exactly the same thing. So I'm just going to post those 2 things. What are you going to do, to be consistent now? And then, of course, I want to just have you guys create an action to go out to your team and say, this is what I'm working towards. This is what we are working towards as a team, and to show the bigger picture. Okay? Thank you all for your time. I love it. Thank you, Jess. Amazing call. Okay.
Thank you all for listening.
Absolutely. And if you have any other questions, of course, I'll post the recording right now in the group. Since you guys, just to let you know, I'm going to stop recording.